man knows the day or the hour, so we must be intentional about sharing our faith. You may have a family member, a coworker. It could be the person right next door, just waiting for you to share the love of Christ. So don't be ashamed of the gospel. Be bold. Tell somebody.
Oh, hey, Fred. Sorry, I was just getting good.
Nah, man, that's fine. What you listening to?
Oh, just some stuff. Well, God bless.
So, crazy about Russia, right? Some type of virus they can't figure out? Like, what does it all mean?
Yeah, see, my show's about to start, but God bless.
So my mom called from Atlanta. The virus is here, man. It's here, and I'm pretty anxious, you know? But you seem calm. I was thinking maybe we could talk.
Yeah. God bless, though. God bless.
It's just allergies. The hunger, the fear. I'm freaking out here, man. If I were to die today, I don't know what would happen. Do you?
I got a pork roast in the oven.
You got a pork roast?
And
where did you get a pork roast?
We'll talk. We'll talk, okay?
I had to eat my cat. I had to eat Buttercup. I've lost everything. I need answers. If I'm going to die, I want to be right with God.
What do you have going on this Thursday?
Nothing. I have absolutely nothing going on. My office burned down. The city is under martial law, and civilization as we know it has ground to a halt. I am drinking toilet water for sustenance, and I am waiting to die.
Okay, so we'll pencil something in for Thursday then.
That would be fantastic. Oh! Fred!
Fred, are you okay? Fred! Fred!
Wow. I thought that was it. That just goes to show you, none of us are guaranteed another second on this earth.
That's true. That's true. Well, God bless. See you Thursday.
Welcome to the final session of Eternity. To this point, Francis has helped us see our lives with the right perspective, no longer focusing on the fleeting and the temporary. Eternity is forever, but each person has a finite time to accept or reject Jesus as Lord. No one knows when they will die or when Christ will return. So what does this mean for us as we interact with our friends, neighbors, and classmates? What does it mean for people all over the world who have never heard the gospel? Today, Francis will be opening up scripture and helping us think through these questions. And students will share their own stories of how they're seeking to impact the world around them with the gospel. Listen to Gabby's story.
Going to Nicaragua is something that I have felt called to for a while because that's always been the place where our high school ministry takes their trips. It's just an indescribable experience. And I had a conversation with one of my friends this year about how obviously he has a plan for us here locally instead of there right now. So we kind of both have been really encouraging each other to be on mission at our schools because we're there all the time, really. We started actually last summer so that we would have a good idea about what we were going to do going into the school year. We just started praying that people would come to know Christ. As much as I wanted to really be on mission at my school, I had no idea what that was going to look like. I think for a long time, I really struggled with, not wanting to hang out with people that weren't Christians because I didn't want them bringing me down. I realized that I'm not going to be influencing anyone if I'm not hanging out with people that aren't Christian. Being on mission at school really has a lot to do with relationships. I really try to preach the gospel by being Jesus to people instead of only talking about Jesus to people. I just really made it an effort to know the names of every single person in all of my classes, and every Monday ask them how their weekend was, and just really being relational. There's a lot of times where people are stuck after school, their parents are working, and they could only ride the bus home and they don't drive. I really use that as an opportunity to take people home, but then that gives me a lot of time to talk to them about Jesus, and a lot of times I end up inviting people to church when they're riding home with me because we can just talk on a much more personal level than we can at school, and I think that's really been a good way for me to minister to people. I have a friend named Abby. She's really struggled with being bullied throughout high school, and she just constantly, talks about that. She's like, I just wish I had more friends. I just have really struggled with making friends. And so after hearing that, I was really intentional about trying to befriend her. So I invited her to come to our youth group with me one night. When we left, she texted me and said that she had accepted Christ that night and that she had never felt that way in her whole life, and that she was just so excited, and she finally understood why I was so excited about church and so excited about Nicaragua and my school. And it was just a really cool experience for me. She's been able to come to our small group now and really get to know some of the girls that I'm close with at church, so it's been really awesome. People tell me sometimes, you talk about church so much, or you talk about Nicaragua so much. I just try to tell them that that's what I'm passionate about. It's no different than them talking about band a lot or talking about cheerleading a lot. Being on mission at my school has really tested my faith because it's so difficult feeling like you're the only one, trying to be Jesus to people. This year didn't really go how I planned it to, but after really thinking about it, I realized that it was better, and God did so many amazing things. Even though I had really crazy, radical ideas in my head, that God's plan is better.
I love Gabby's story because she did what should be natural to all of us, okay? When we know God and we know what we've been rescued from, the terrors of hell, and know that our whole eternity is set and we don't have to fear death, and we actually know the God of the universe, man, it should be natural for us to want all of our friends to know this God that Gabby knows, that you and I know. And so she goes and she tries to figure out situations where she can just be with the people and bless the people and get an opportunity to tell them about this God that she'll be spending eternity with. It's the same thing you see the Apostle Paul doing in 1 Corinthians 9. He talks about in verse 22, he says, to the weak, I became weak that I might win the weak. I've become all things to all people that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them in its blessings. He goes, man, I get in with this crowd and this crowd. I become like them. Why? All so that I might win them, because I want them to share in the blessings of the gospel with me. Man, I remember when I was in high school, after I fell in love with Jesus, it was just a natural thing to do. I would look at my friends and I'd be concerned about their future. And I'd like, I loved them. And I was like, man, I want them to be with me. I don't want God to look at them and say, depart from me, I never knew you. I wanted God to look at them and because they believed in Jesus and what he did on the cross, they would be with us forever in that place where there's no more tears, no more pain, and we'll be in perfect relationship with each other. Man, I gotta beg you, because there is an eternity, take advantage of the time you have now and the relationships you have now. Take every opportunity to win people with the good news of Jesus Christ so you can be with them forever in a place where there's no more death, no more sickness, no more pain, and we can all just walk with God together forever.
My family and I, we would go down to Atlanta all the time, and that's where you would see most of the homeless. And when I saw people that were in need, it bothered me. There was no doubt about it, no thought. I wanted to help. God put something in my heart. I was like, I want to start an organization, just out of nowhere. I wanted to call it Blessings for a Day. And the reason I wanted to call that is because I wanted to go out and just be a blessing to someone just for a day. And so that's when I started to serve more and truly understand what serving was and why we serve. If our God comes to serve, why can't I? The second I wanted to start an organization, my whole community got involved because I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. I started getting most of my family to come, friends, big companies, and I honestly couldn't do it without my family and friends. I mean, they have been so supportive, and it's just so awesome to see how my small little community can come together to help out a big town. When I go out to serve in my community, I no longer just look at the physical needs, but spiritual. I may not have enough food or clothes or whatever else I'm giving out, but I know that with a simple hug or a simple, I love you, Jesus loves you, that's way more important, and that's what they want the most. When I serve, I always go back to the same places because I want to see that growth. I wanted to see life change there. When you're there and you see their smiles, you feel so blessed that you're able to be a blessing to them. And it never gets old because I want everybody to feel the joy that I have, and I want everybody to be in heaven one day. God has definitely put such a burning passion in my heart to change this world and this community. And there's no doubt about it that I'm gonna do it. I want to do it, and I have all the drive to do it. And that's what keeps me going, and not another second is promised, another day. And so I want to give everybody that I can the opportunity to one day be in heaven, because we are not promised another second. There's no doubt about it that I know that that's what God placed in my heart, and that's what He wants me to do.
I love Natalie's example. You know, so often young people think, well, when I get older, I'm gonna get serious about serving God, or when I graduate, I might go on this mission trip, or I might do this when I'm older, later. But what Paul told Timothy in 1 Timothy 4:12, he says, don't let people despise you because you're young, but you set the example for them in speech, in life, in love, in faith, in purity. And that's exactly what she was doing, was not saying, okay, someday I'm gonna serve the poor, someday I'm gonna care for those who are in need. She's like, you know what, I can do that right now. It's like I said when we began this series, we've got this short little red part here on earth, and we don't wanna waste it, because while it is a vapor, while it is a mist, and it just happens and then we're gone, man, this time we have right now is so precious. You know, and the Bible tells us that we've got to make the most of every opportunity. So don't wait any longer. Man, invest in God during this little time on earth, and you'll see the results of this someday. Man, someday, maybe even something I say to you right now, you'll thank me for 100 or 1,000 years from now. You can go, man, I saw that video and you told me to do something that day, and look at how God rewarded me for it. Man, 1,000 years from now, some of us will still be looking at each other. And that's the thought of, man, I don't want to waste this opportunity. What can I do right now? How can I start a pattern in life? Because, man, if you put it off now, you're gonna keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But right now, start a pattern in your life of living for eternity. Don't waste these days, these precious days. It's all gonna be worth it. Jesus spent his days on earth sacrificing for us, and that's the example for us. And he did it because of the joy that was set before him. So take advantage of the opportunity you have today, right now, with this circle of friends, and set an example for the people in the church. Even though you're young, be the example of purity, be the example of speech, be the example of action.
Through this entire series, Francis has challenged our normal ways of thinking about eternity. He's pushed us to view all of life, every decision we make, every minute we spend, every conversation we have, through the lens of eternity. Like Francis just said, Jesus spent his days on earth sacrificing for us, doing it because of the joy that was set before him. Your future, your eternity with God will be the ultimate joy. Live now, love now, sacrifice now with that joy, that eternity in view. Thanks for watching.